Are you missing out on the M's because of your status? I mean, I did. I completely screwed up my opportunity in high school. I could have cared less about the M's in that film. All because I cared more about who I was and what people thought of me. I was a Christian and I did that. My Facebook status said Christian. Yeah, it would have said Christian. Got a little older than that. Anyway, but here's another one I missed out on. I wasn't the big football player just because I wasn't big, but I loved basketball. But I even screwed up there. I had opportunities to use being friends with the cool people. Not that I was cool, I was really weird, but I did everything to fit in, and they accepted me for the most part. And I had opportunities to reach out. And I had opportunities to use that, just like somebody did to Zach in that film. And I screwed that up. We have, I don't know the junior hires that well, but our high school group, whenever we went to CIY and we took like 40 students, and I looked around that circle, we had game changers. We did. We had people who really fit in. And ever since then, we've kind of shrunk by the week. Because we want to look more like the world. And so I challenge you to start thinking about the other. Start surrendering your status so that God can be glorified. And my question is, did anybody struggle with this concept throughout the course of human history? Are we the first generation, are we the first group of people to ever struggle with the problem of fitting in?
I think it's getting worse.
It's getting worse, but maybe we weren't the first. And I want to turn to 1 John. Because each one of us in here are called to be disciples, right? It's a weird term, we don't hear it a lot, but if we're Christians, we're called to be disciples. We're called to be the hands and feet of Jesus Christ. And I'm going to point something out to you. In John chapter 9, just 2 verses, it's 3 verses, 33 through 35. Oh, it's Mark. That's why. Mark 9, very good. All right, so these disciples, what are we called to be? We're called to be disciples, in a sense, all right? So we're called to be disciples. And so my question was, are we the first people to ever struggle with this concept of fitting in? Are we the first people to ever struggle with wanting and desiring to look like the world? Are we the first people to ever not want or struggle with wanting to fit in so bad that we sacrifice our faith? Some of us are popular because we're God-given gifts. God has given us abilities to be on the football team. God has given us abilities to do this. God has given us abilities to be leaders in our schools. All right? But some of us aren't. We're seeking for that. All right? And here's what the problem was. The disciples in Bible times, the one that Jesus chose, he chooses these everyday guys to be his disciples. And here's what they're dealing with. They came to Capernaum, a city. When he was in the house, he asked them, what were you arguing about? So they're walking down this road, and these dudes are arguing about something. They're going back and forth. They're chewing each other out, debating, arguing, much like we do at times. And Jesus gets to the house, and he says, what were you arguing about on the road? It says all of them kept quiet, because on the way they had argued about who was the greatest. So they're walking down this road, and they start debating, they start arguing, they start just bickering with one another about who is the greatest. These disciples. We're not the first people to struggle with this. We want to be the greatest. We want to be the most popular. We want to have the most friends. We want to fit in. We want to look like our friends. We want them to accept us. We struggle with acceptance. We desire it. And Jesus calls them out. He hears them. And he waits till he gets to the house. He says, what in the heck were you arguing about? They kept quiet. And he knew that they were arguing about who was the greatest, because he heard them. Sitting down, Jesus says, he calls the 12 and he says, if anyone wants to be the first, he must be the very last and the servant of all. Jesus' response is the same response that he gives us today when we deal with that stuff. if you are the individual that is it kills you. Your heart does not beat properly because you are constantly worried about fitting in. Man, you gotta figure something else out. God is saying, surrender that. Don't worry about your status. Play with the hands I've dealt. If you're the one that is popular, and you just completely find arrogance in that, like they did on the video when he said that, just don't be arrogant about it. If God has given you the ability to be accepted by many and to make people laugh and to have other people underclassmen look up to you, if that's you, what are you doing with it? What are you doing with it? Because I don't see too many Zachs coming. I love our group. I love our group that comes here every Wednesday. We have some people that are pretty popular. We have people that don't struggle with acceptance, although we may have some. But if we were doing exactly what we're called to be doing, I think this group would expand a little bit. I don't want you to feel bad about yourself. I don't want to call you out. I don't do this often. But if we're going to surrender our status, that's part of it. Okay? Sunday I was able to preach here, and it was called God's Masterpiece. In Ephesians, it says that we are God's workmanship. Translated, dissected, the word workmanship, think about it, God's handcrafted, means masterpiece. We can think of all these different things. We can think of different vacation sites, we can think of different oceans and mountains, whatever it may be. And God says, yeah, that's good. But then He creates us and He says it's very good. He says we're His masterpiece. There is no way we can look like His masterpiece if we're so consumed with how we are, how we look, how we fit in. If we're too consumed in our status, we do not look like His masterpiece. And so we're going to do a skit real quick that we did on Sunday, and then I will close this out. This is pretty cool. Don't lose sight. Don't start talking a lot, because I want to get, this is a really good skit.
Can you turn the screen off real quick? Oh, it's over there.
Yeah.
I think I turned it on.
Hold on, Todd.
Yeah.
I want to get the screen turned off. Don't worry about the mics, they're on.
What?
Don't worry about the mics, they're already on.
You're not using?
They're on.
It wasn't on. See?
Is it not on? That could be.
All right, don't worry about it. Now you can start.
Ephesians 2:10 says that we are God's workmanship, meaning we are His masterpiece. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I get up in the morning and look in the mirror, I don't see a masterpiece. Maybe a white Zach tenor. I want to be His masterpiece. So I go to Him in prayer and I say, Father, do whatever it takes to mold me into the image of your Son. Do whatever it takes to get all the stuff out of my life that doesn't need to be there. And just mold me into the image of your Son so I can be your masterpiece. It's in your name I pray.
Hey, how's it going?
Whoa, who are you?
I'm God. You just said that prayer, so here I am. Let's go.
Yeah, God.
Why does everyone say that?
Well, okay, God, why don't you make it snow in here?
Okay, I have a good relationship with the janitors here. This is carpeted floor. I make it snow. It gets all yucky in here. The janitors.
See, you're not God.
Why?
God would not say yucky.
I would too. It's a Greek word.
Okay, God. What does Lamentations 15:9 say?
Lamentations is a very short book. It's 5 chapters long.
Why is it so short?
I was tired of lamenting.
Okay. Okay, God. Who's going to win the World Series this year?
See, you like to play these games. I'm not a god of games. Why do you have to play games so much?
No way.
What?
You are God.
Give it away.
You answered my question with a question.
I do. Yeah, I did. I do that a lot, don't I? You see, I just did it again. All right, let's go, let's go.
All right, hold on. What's all this about?
These are the tools I'm going to use to make you into my masterpiece, just like you said.
Right. But I thought you were a carpenter.
That's Jesus, my son. Let's go.
Gotcha. Well, God, how do you know what's a lead with the chisel?
I'm God, just trust me on this. What I'm chiseling away is like dead weight.
Speaking of that, would you mind chiseling like right in here? I mean, I go to Bob's every day. I'm pretty buff. I even tried Zumba one time. Awkward. I mean, wouldn't mind giving me like 4 to 8 lines? It'd be great.
See, what you're doing right now is you would rather talk. Do you want to talk or can I chisel? Talk, chisel.
No, chisel.
Yeah, most of my children just want to talk when it comes to this process.
Not me. Bring on the chisel.
All right. Through the power of my Holy Spirit, I'm going to recall events in your life that you need to work on, problems that you're struggling with. See the top of there. Struggle with pride. You compare yourselves to others, and you should compare yourselves to me. No problem with lust.
I do not have a problem with lust.
I'm God, I know your heart. You say you don't have a problem with lust?
Okay, what do you got? Maybe we can just take a time out. I think I'm doing pretty well.
I mean, you are doing well. Look in the mirror, what do you see?
See me?
That's a big problem. When you look at yourself and when others look at you, you need to see Jesus.
Well, no offense, God, but when I start looking more like Jesus, people start to think I'm a little weird. I mean, you, my friends at church, are like, "Oh, you're so holier than thou. Why don't you say this, do this, come here with us?"
See, what you're doing right now is you'd rather play God in some areas of your life, rather than just be God over your whole life.
I did not say that.
That's what you meant.
Yeah. It's so hard to talk to you. I mean, you know everything that I'm thinking. Look, I'm not saying this stuff is bad. I'm just saying that, you know, we can take a little time out, stay right here, we'll come back to it.
Whoa. Stay right here. There's no such thing as a stay right here. I mean you're walking towards me or you're stepping away. There's not a stay right here. And what you're doing now is it's called control. Do you want to control or can I chisel? Control?
No, chisel.
All right.
But can we chisel where I want to chisel?
That's called control.
Right.
This is a sin you've been holding on to for a long time. Are you sure you're ready for me to chisel this out of your life?
Yeah. It hurts.
It hurts me more than it hurts you.
Oh, gosh dang it, I don't think you understand this pain.
Don't talk to me about pain. I know all about pain. I sent my only son to die on the cross for sin and for pain. But I sent him here for another reason, to give you freedom. I mean, do you know what insanity is? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. There are areas in your life that, these areas I'm chiseling out, that you're just practicing insanity. You run to these wells when you're empty, you're tired, you're hungry, you're lonely, you're scared. They aren't working, they're just empty.
Okay, I get that. I was just thinking that.
Your thoughts are not my thoughts.
But if we went another way.
Your ways are not my ways.
Look, I can't be good.
You can't be good. I made you good. Just be good.
Look, it's just
What?
nothing. You wouldn't understand.
Of course I wouldn't. I'm God of all the universe. I wouldn't understand what one of my children is trying to say to me. Try me.
It's just a. God, I've let you down so many times.
You were never holding me up. In this relationship, I hold you up with my victorious, righteous right hand. It's never the other way around. Don't forget that.
Okay, just away. But be prepared for what you're going to find in it. Because I know who's really in it. And because of that, God, I get up every morning and look in the mirror. And I see this scared little kid that tries to dress and act like an adult, but can't. So God, just be ready for what you're going to find in there.
See, you've listened to far too many voices for far too long that aren't me. I mean, you think you're junk. I mean, you really think you're junk. Listen, I don't make junk. What does that say about me? What do I have to do to show you my love for you has no end? How can I show you my love for you as far as the east is from the west? I know. Reach in your back pocket.
What?
Just reach in your back pocket.
Why?
Why are you going to argue with me? Just please reach in your back pocket. Yeah.
I was just saying I'll do that right now, God.
You were just saying my name in vain.
Look, it's not a big deal. Everybody says it. It's just a name or a saying.
I don't care if everyone says it. It's more than a name. It's more than a saying. It's a name above all names. I want to teach you about my name. Reach in your back pocket. You know what that is?
So, the letter that I wrote from my journal, I was like, how did you get this?
I am God. Whoa. Read it.
I love Jack Danks.
Yeah, the other side. That is the wrong side.
Sorry, it's my throw.
I know he's your bro. I gave him to you. Put him in your life so you have another Christian friend. But I don't answer prayers, so that's fine.
Dear God, today I'm turning everything over to you. I'm not going to hold on to anything anymore. Your word says that you will make me your masterpiece and use me to do great things. I don't see how that's possible, but I want that with all that I am. So please do whatever it takes to make me into what you want. I love you, God.
I love you too, Tyler. And I love you too much to leave you where you are. So this salvation you hold on to, don't let it be some feeling or some knowledge. I want you to work out every aspect of your life every day. And don't compare yourself to someone else to see how they're doing, because that's just nonsense. You are my masterpiece. You are my workmanship. In you I find favor. This hammer and this chisel, don't think of this as a prison. Think of this as a father disciplining his son. The father disciplines the child that he loves.
Oh, but God, it's going to be so tough.
It will be tough, but you bought into the lie and accepted the lie that whenever you said yes to me, everything would be easy. That's not how it works. There are trials in this world. Be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. I want you to do something right now. I want you to look at it and I want you to say, Tyler is God's original masterpiece. Right now.
Tyler.
No. Not how you see yourself or how you fear everyone else sees you. How I see you.
Tyler is God's original masterpiece.
Yes, you are.
So are you. God doesn't make junk. He loves you, and you are his original masterpiece.
Wow.
I thought that was Jack.
Wow. The question instantly becomes from that skit. Are you letting God be God over part of your life? Are you letting God be God over part of your life, the areas where you want and you feel comfortable and you want Him to be God over, or are you allowing Him to be God over your entire life? There is no way we can be living masterpieces if we don't allow Him to chisel off those areas. We're not called to be perfect. If we were called to be perfect, there would be no point in the cross. But we strive for excellence. And here's the thing. So many of your friends do not. So many of my friends don't always see Christ because I and you haven't allowed Him to chisel off all those areas. So many of your friends have not seen Him because of our fronts. Because we're too scared to surrender our status. We're too scared to use the gifts we've been given. We're not bold enough. Some of you guys are. When I was your age, I completely missed the mark. A lot of us, we tend to, the reason we're doing this whole surrender series is so that, because we're going to go into I have a friend who, and we're going to talk about things our friends deal with, but first we're trying to pull the plank out of our own eye. We're trying to surrender our entire lives. And some of us are so consumed with talking about what this person's doing, or the drugs, or the addiction of this person, and we're comparing ourselves to that person, and we're not comparing ourselves to God. We forgot about our unwholesome talk. That doesn't count because it's not near as bad what this guy's doing. We forgot about the way we dress because some other girl dresses worse than us. We are called to be living masterpieces. He created us very good. Everything else He creates, He calls good. Then He creates man, and He says it's very good. Some of you guys, junior hires, you may not know this. A lot of you guys at Knights know this. There was a bad car accident. Fortunately, the girl is going to be okay. But just after school, for those of you who don't know, just after school, like immediately after, there was a bad car accident. The girl, supposedly her car flipped several times. You guys may know her, but I talked to Zach about it,
Thanks.
and Zach had informed me that Blake was one of the first people to respond. Now, I'm not going to ask him to talk, it's too fresh. He doesn't have to say a word. But he told me that Blake was the first one there, and he helped hold the car off this girl's neck. He dropped his books. He didn't care what he looked like. And then I found out that there were other people watching, and some other ones that responded were Jack and Zach. They wanted help. And this girl's crying out. I probably haven't seen that scene in my life. But I'm sure it was pretty powerful. I'm sure it was pretty impactful. And here's what Zach tells me. He said that there were some people standing around watching. In fact, Blake yelled at someone to call 911 and the lady froze. Zach told me that he was ticked. He was mad. And I don't blame him. He saw people, they were trying to help, and there were people just watching, and then Blake yells out, and the lady doesn't respond like she should have. And he's mad because everyone's watching and no one's doing anything. And I just wonder if that's what we're doing with our lives. I don't want to take anything from that accident. It was a horrible accident. But I promise you, hell is 1,500,000 million times worse than any bad accident. And some of us, including myself, we find these moments where we're just watching. We're watching our friends, we're watching the choices they're making, we're watching the addictions that they have, and we're not doing anything about it. We're the lady who doesn't call. We're the guy who just stands there and freezes and doesn't help because he just doesn't know what to do. That's us. And it's so easy to be mad at the lady and the guy who don't respond to the accident. But sometimes, we're doing that same thing. Usually we leave here in good moods and we're perky and we're ready to have fun and hang out. But I want this to sink in. It was a reality check for me when Zach told the story. I'm so thankful that we had 3 guys in this room that decided to help. But are we doing it for an eternal impact as well? Or is our status, who we want people to see us as, is that affecting us more so than reaching out? The disciples are arguing, who's the greatest, who's the greatest? And Jesus is like, who cares? You've got to make yourself the least, the one who surrenders. It's kind of like an oxymoron, right? We're not used to that. I want to pray, but I want to have somebody else pray. I just need a volunteer to come up here. Christian will pray. Wouldn't be volunteer. Not because you're not a volunteer, but I wanted to pray for Alex and her family, because Alex isn't here tonight because her grandpa passed away. So we'll keep Alex's family in our prayers. And also, when you go home tonight and you lay in bed, remind yourself of something very big. Your God's masterpiece. He created you to have an ability to make an eternal impact. If he didn't think we could do it, he wouldn't have passed the baton. He wouldn't have given us the responsibility to go and make disciples if he did not think we could do it. Are we willing to surrender everything that we are? Our popularity, our status, our stuff, to make an eternal difference? We can make a difference. We can be his masterpiece if we allow him to chisel his areas.
God, I just thank you for this lesson, oh Lord. I just pray that you would just speak to us tonight, and you just give us spiritual ears, God, just to hear your voice. And just not these voices that are lies, that just tell us that we're junk, that just tell us we're useless. The voices of high school and our parents and sometimes our friends and our enemies, God, that we would just hear your voice. Tonight we would just hear your voice, that we are your masterpiece, Lord. That you've just crafted us and that you've just spent so much time working with us and that you would just want to use us. God, I pray that you would just speak to all of us and just show us how real this is. Show us how just much you want to use this, Lord. I just pray that just this whole youth group would just start moving over. That we just start claiming and acting like your masterpiece a lot. Oh God, and just not acting like some useless piece of junk. Father, I just pray for boldness for this youth group. We just be bold in our community, just bold in our next steps. I thank you for Blake and Zach and Jack just for their boldness, just for what they did. I just pray that their impact would just move through us, just make us want to have an impact. Not that others would see it, not that we'd be recognized as youth, but that we would find favor in your eyes, God. Father, I just pray that you just protect us over there, Lord. I just pray for Alex and her family. And I just pray that you just be with them and just touch them. I pray and claim that your healing hand is just upon them right now. I just pray peace upon their family, Lord, just in the next few days. I pray safe travel as they travel tomorrow for the funeral, God. I just pray that this death would not create footholds, Lord, but that it would create unity. That you would just create unity in their family, Lord. Just create unity in this youth group. In Jesus' name.
Play some music if you want.
I was